So tonight we're going to spend our time talking about our RN to BSN degree track. So it is our online completion degree track in nursing. There's actually three different staff that I'd like to introduce you to, faculty and staff today. So Lisa is on the call. She is our degree track chair. You're going to hear from her in just a moment. She's going to give the heart of the presentation, basically the nuts and the bolts and all the info that you would need to know for just a 15 to 20 minute presentation all about the program. And then at the end, you can jump on, ask any questions you like. We'll leave a little Q&A. We can talk about where you might be in the enrollment process. Hi, welcome. We can get any questions out at the end as well. Do feel free to use the chat at any point. Put those questions in the chat, but Lisa will make the full presentation and then we will all talk at the end. The last two people I want to introduce, Heather is on this call. She'll jump in at the end as well. Hey, Heather. She is the admissions counselor for this degree track. So for our Kettering Health Network students and for this RN to BSN degree track, she makes sure that you know how to fill out the application. She makes sure that you know what your next steps are. If you want to use tuition assistance, she's going to make sure you don't get stuck in the process. She is the person that will get that enrollment business completed for you. And then the last person, Brandy Gray, jumped on this call. She works in Kettering Health in the HR area with our tuition and our education assistance program. So at the end, again, if we have specific Kettering Health questions about education assistance, we can answer those. But really, this program is for any RN who wants to join our nursing degree track or any Kettering Health RN that wants to join the track. It's for a bit of everyone, and we're glad that we have a number of you on the call tonight. We are going to record the heart of this presentation. Just so you guys know, there's a couple people that couldn't make it, so we're going to be sending out this recording to them. Just so you know, just a little housekeeping, if your camera's on, they might see you in the recording. If it's off, they won't, but at the end, we're going to cut off that Q&A at the end so you can turn your camera on, talk to us if you'd like, that kind of thing. And we'll just make sure that the heart of the presentation is those that we send out to any guests that couldn't make it tonight. All right, I think that's everything for housekeeping that you all might need to know. So I'm going to let Lisa get her presentation ready here and take over. And we're going to let you know all about that RN to BSN degree track and who we are as Kettering College. And we hope that you might think of some good questions and see if we're a good fit for what you're looking for in your career.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jessica, and welcome everybody. I'm so glad you all could attend and that you're giving me just a little bit of your time. And I hope that this will be beneficial. My name is Lisa Huber, and I am the chair of the RN to BSN program degree track at Kettering College. And I have been in nursing now for over 30 years. And I've been in the education piece at least about 20. So I actually helped to make this RN-BSN degree online track when it first came and it was first launched back in 2011. So we are actually celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. So we're real proud of that. As you see this front slide, you can see our proximity of our campus to the main campus of Kettering Hospital. So you can see where it says Boonshoft Center for Medical Sciences. There's also a Kettering College sign there, and that's where the heart of Kettering College is. So if you would happen to come to campus, this is what you would see. But as Jessica's already said, our program is offered all online, so you do not ever have to come to campus if you don't want to. We would love to be able to see you and meet you, but you don't have to come to campus. So that's the beauty of an online program and what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. So just a little bit about some of the things that we're very proud of here at Kettering College in the RN to BSN program. We were this year ranked number 4 in Ohio in RN to BSN programs. And this ranking was done by students. So it wasn't a faculty-driven or a business-driven type of an award. This was done by students. So there are approximately 80 some online RN to BSN programs in Ohio. So we're very, very very, very glad and very privileged to have our students feel that we are that good and have ranked us that high. Another thing that we have achieved, an award we have achieved, is that we have received a best value for quality, and we've been ranked in the top 20 in Ohio for the last 4 years. So even though we are small at Kettering College, we are mighty. And then Kettering College overall has received some awards as well, and that you can see there on the right side of the screen that they were ranked. Kettering College is ranked number 3 in the best online Christian college, and we do have that Christian foundation that we instill good values into everyone that comes through our doors. And then number 14 in the most affordable, and then best colleges in online programs as well. So we have another degree track that is for health sciences. For all the other non-nursing type of healthcare institutions, we have an online degree for that as well. So if you have any friends who want to come, then please send them our way for the online program for getting a bachelor's degree if they're in respiratory or any sort of other healthcare field. Okay. So one of the things that usually nurses want to know, especially if you are thinking of your professional development and wanting to go on past your bachelor's degree, is if we are accredited. I can soundly say, yes, we are. We have been accredited since the inception of the program and by ASN. That is the International Accrediting Agency for Nursing. And we have been accredited, fully accredited since we opened. Another thing that helps us be a quality program, we feel, is that we were early adopters of institution called Quality Matters. And Quality Matters is an educational institution that actually sets evidence-based standards for online education. So we were an early adopter of this when they first started back in the early 2000s as well. And we feel like that has really helped us build a strong program that delivers quality education to you. So what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes going through some of the most frequently asked questions that we get whenever someone wants to know, well, what you offer an RN-to-BSN program. They usually ask these questions. And the first one is, well, can I transfer anything else in? And the answer is yes. We transfer in 77 credits for your associate degree or the equivalent if you happen to be a diploma nurse or know a diploma nurse. We transfer in all 77 of those credits towards the 127 that you need for a bachelor's degree. So there are 18 additional credits that can be transferred in because we have 30 credits that need to be completed at Kettering College in order for us to award you a degree. So you can get those 30 credits primarily from doing your nursing here, and we do have a couple of religion courses as well that will round out your education. One about some death and dying type principles and how we deal with that spiritually, and so we have those credits, and so you can earn your credits with while transferring all your other credits in. You can earn a degree from us with those 30 credits. So it's no problem to get those 30 credits. So you can transfer in 18 additional credits, maybe things like pathophysiology, or if you've taken an English speech class, or if you've taken statistics already at another place, then definitely those will transfer in, okay, if they're from an accredited college, another accredited college. So so that's basically about transfer. We transfer in everything that we possibly can. Okay. Next question usually we get is, how long is it going to take me? And we have, as of in 2019, we changed over to using a 7-week format for our courses. So a semester is 15 weeks long. And so what we did is we kind of a day or a week, what your schedule might look like. It would be that you register for 2 courses for a semester. And the first 7 weeks, you would actually take one course and be able to focus in 7 weeks on that one course to complete it. Then you get a week off in the middle of the semester. And then in the last 7 weeks of the semester, you would take another course and focus in on that. So you would be able to complete 2 courses per semester. And that is for the part-time. Now I say part-time because most individuals who come to our program are working, and you've got lives and you've got families and you've got other things that you've got to balance out your life with, right? We're all about trying to balance our lives. So most of our RN-to-BSN admissions are part-time. And that would take 8 semesters, a minimum of 8 semesters, which is about 2.5 years, depending on what you transfer in. If you transfer in more credits, it would reduce that time. If, however, you are currently not working, or you have that, or you have a lot of free time on your hands, then you could potentially go full-time and finish in 3 semesters with a full-time load, and that would be taking 12 to 16 credits per semester. I don't have very many people that do that in this program, so most of us go part-time. We do admit 3 times a year, so we're admitting now for fall. And but you could also choose to start in January, or you can start in the beginning of May for starting in the summer session. So we have some flexible times that you can come to us and start your program, but you can start 3 times a year. So the whole time is either going to be 1 year if you go full time, 2.5 years for if you go part time, and you will be taking up a maximum of 48 credits that you would take after your associate's degree to get your bachelor's degree. And that basically ends up being 16 courses possibly. So you would have 8 arts and sciences and 8 nursing. And those arts and sciences are the ones that you can transfer in. So the next question is, what is it going to cost me? So right now, as of January, our college is happy to have been able to partner with our Kettering Health partners. And we are, our regular tuition rate at the school right now is around $576 per credit hour. But with this partnership with Kettering Health, we have been able to reduce our online RN-to-BSN tuition rate to $325 per credit hour. So that's half. And so that's for anybody who wants to come in. You do not have to be an employee to get this rate. So anybody who wants to come in and join our RN-to-BSN program online would be a rate of $325 per credit hour. Now, if you do happen to be a Kettering Health employee, and you apply for educational assistance or tuition assistance, which you can do after 6 months of being an employee, then you will get an additional $75 per credit hour discount. So that would bring your tuition rate per credit hour down to $250 per credit hour. So this is a very competitive rate for any of a private institution that is offering an RN-to-BSN degree here in Ohio. So let me just break it down a little bit. For those of you who like tables, you can kind of see what it might cost. So this again is that $325 cost per credit hour. And that is for anybody who wants to come to be in our RN-to-BSN degree. So you can see here that the total cost for the degree would be somewhere around a little over $16,000, which is not bad at all for a bachelor's degree. However, if you are a KHN employee with education assistance, here's that $250 cost per credit hour, and your degree now comes down to about $12,000. So with education assistance, what that means is that you actually are going to get reimbursed, well, actually it's not reimbursement. You don't pay out of pocket. As far as I understand, you're going to apply for education assistance, and your degree will essentially be free. Kettering Health will pay for this degree at $12,000, and you're going to be reimbursed. So I know that Brandy's here, and she can speak to a lot of the cost things and how that reimbursement, how that education assistance goes, if anybody wants to ask questions about that at the end of the presentation. But again, $12,000, but essentially free for a Kettering Health Network employee with tuition assistance. So the last question is really, how do I get started? And it's a very easy 3-step process. All you have to do is go to our kc.edu site. You can go to any page on the website, even the home page, and there will be an apply button there somewhere. So you just click the apply button, and there are several questions that you have to fill out. I believe it's 6 or 8, it's less than 10 questions, I believe, that you have to fill out. So it's not a lengthy thing. And it's free to apply. You have no cost to you. So you can apply, and then we connect you with our admissions counselor, Heather Mays, who's here today as well. And she will get you started on making sure all your transcripts are in our system, and getting you a file activated, getting started with email, and getting you access to all the things that you would need. And then after that, all you need to do is register and learn. And we start you in the classes. Canvas is the name of our learning management system that we use online. It's similar to Blackboard or some of those other things that you might be familiar with if you're familiar with any of the learning management systems. And you just start learning right from where you are at the time that you want to. So because many of our courses they're asynchronous, meaning that you don't have to be on at a certain time. You can just sign on and do your coursework when it's convenient for you. So finally, just to wrap things up, our graduates are sought out throughout the area and in the Adventist health system as well. We have a very good reputation. Kettering grads are sought out for leadership positions and feel that they're well prepared. And because they're nurses that these qualities are ones that we really want to take the time for you to demonstrate, and we as faculty also try to demonstrate and model these types of values to you as well. We feel it's important that you have these characteristics whenever you go out into the world, because nursing is one of the most trusted professions, #1, I think, for the last 15 years. So we want to help instill these traits and strengthen them in you if you already have them. So that's really the end of my presentation. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and we can go into questions and answers. Anything that you might have about the program or overall about Kettering College, we can try to answer them.
Awesome, thank you, Lisa. Yes, now the rest of the time is yours. We intentionally tried to keep that presentation shorter just to give you the highlights about that degree track. And like Lisa said, if you'd like to put some questions in the chat, you could turn on your mic and chat with us that way as well. But we are here to kind of just see where you're at. We've noticed some of you may have applied already and maybe have more questions about how to enroll in the fall. Some of you maybe are just starting out right from the beginning. One question that I get all the time, so I'm not seeing any questions come in yet, but I have about 3 here that are really common ones that I get that I'd like the team to answer. So can you, Lisa, just speak a little bit to, it is the RN-to-BSN track is fully online, you mentioned that. And so with those, you already mentioned the courses are those 7-week courses, but 2 questions. Can you stop out of a semester if you have a life event? So it's online, you can take those classes kind of asynchronous, but what if you have a really heavy couple weeks or something? And then the second question is, there's sometimes just like 1 or 2 small components that are in person. When we say it's fully online, all of the coursework is, but can you speak to, can you stop out, and what, if any, components might be in person?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Those are good questions. Yes, we are very flexible with you being able to stop out for life events, things like that. And one of the nice things about being a smaller school is you get that personal touch, and we can treat your circumstance individually. I can share that, we've had some students recently who've had some health issues, and then with COVID and that kind of thing, and we were able to work with them so that they didn't have to interrupt too much of their education, and they could start right back up again where they had left off. We do ask that if you do have to stop out for some life event, that you communicate with us, and that's all that, you know, that we really require. But we are flexible with when you start and stop, knowing that some of the courses are only offered a couple times a year, or maybe even once a year. So we just have to, but we have to be flexible and work with that. And so it's definitely a flexible program, though, that we work with you to be able to stop and start if you need to, due to an emergency. And then I believe the other half of the question was, is there any part that of the program that may not be online? And there are 2 courses that we have that we're required to do a little bit of a practicum with. And those are courses where you get some practical experience. So they're not clinicals per se, they're called practicums, where you go and you're able to work with a leader. So in our leadership course, we have some hours that you're able to go and work with the leader. And then in our community course, we like for you to go out and do some service or learn about community nursing, what the different areas are, what the different things, roles of a nurse are in the community. And that can be in your area. So you don't have to come to Kettering for that. We work with you to try to find, if you're in an area that maybe down in Cincinnati, or you're in, we don't do international yet, but if you're in a different state, even, we can work with you to try to get an affiliation agreement with that facility so that you can actually do those practicum hours in the area that you live. So that we try to be real flexible with that. Now, I will say, if we're not able to get an agreement with them, because sometimes there are some things that they don't agree to, then you might have to come to campus, because we can definitely provide you those hours here within the Kettering Health Network. But we try very, very hard to work out an agreement with where you live, a facility where you live.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I have a quick question about transfer credit. So either Heather or Lisa, you guys can give some highlights, and then also know as well, if you have more specific questions about your case alone, you can either stick around afterwards or request a call back after today's event, and we can call you back and go really specific into your question if it doesn't get answered here on this group chat. So the question in the chat is about transfer credit. So which kind of arts and science classes could be completed at another college and then be transferred into Kettering College? I'm not quite sure. It said, could I go to a closure college and then transfer them and take class at Kettering? I'm not sure what closure college means, but could one of you two speak about the types of classes that would transfer in? Oh, closer. Thank you. There we go. Okay, awesome. So yeah, let's definitely talk a little bit about that. So Lisa, you talked about transfer credit. No problem. We talked about transfer credit. You could bring some in. So there's some that you're going to need to take with us. Some you could bring in. And so can you guys speak a little bit to that, and speak a little bit about also how do you find that balance? Maybe Heather, if transferology could be a part of the answer here as well, that could be helpful maybe. So Lisa and then Heather.
Okay, sure. Well, I can speak to the courses that could be transferred in. I mentioned a few, but the arts and science courses that are required as part of our curriculum are on our website. If you go to the RN-to-BSN, you can see all the courses listed that are part of our curriculum. And maybe Jessica, you might be able to put the link in there for them in the chat. That would be great. The most common ones that are transferred in are statistics, the speech course, the speech or communications course. We have pathophysiology that can be transferred in. Okay, and yeah, those are the big ones that come in. And then I don't know whether you have religion courses from another institution. If you have religion courses, then those could be, we could work on those being transferred in as well. So Heather, anything as guidance as far as what they can look up, like if they have the transferology, where they can look up where they are planning or might want to go for college and see what would transfer in, what course would be equivalent, right?
Yeah, so any transfer credit that you have from any school, we use something called transferology at Kettering College. I can get that to you. I'll put the link in the page. That's where we have students go. You can take your transcripts that you have from your previous school and put them in there, and it will tell you what matches and what will transfer in and what doesn't match, or maybe needs to be looked at a little bit further. You can request advising on there if you see any maybes or something's just not checking out, you're not quite sure. And the transfer credit department will get back to you with maybe why that's not matching, or maybe it's something they haven't looked up yet. They'll usually request a syllabus if it's something that they need to check into. As for attending another school and Kettering College, that's more of a registrar kind of question. Usually they would prefer that you take classes at Kettering and not elsewhere. They don't usually want you to do both at the same time. As it is an online degree, I'll have to go with the registrar's office and see what they suggest, what they prescribe. I will email you back and let you know, because I know Miranda asked that question. So I'll email you back specifically. I'll get in touch with her tomorrow and see what she says.
Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of tools like that. If you're still in that decision phase, or you're trying to figure out what transfers in, what doesn't, Heather can be that kind of that person that guides you to talk with the right people on our campus to get those answers about the enrollment process. So any other questions, put them in the chat now. I have one more that I'd like to kind of ask, and I'll wait a couple minutes to make sure there's nothing else in the chat. I would like to say we found that a lot of our grads end up coming because it's a requirement in a lot of hospitals to complete your bachelor's degree. So you might be starting, whether it's at Kettering Health or somewhere else. You know, we're owned and operated by Kettering Health, so we have a lot of close partnerships, affiliations. Like Lisa said, you can see our picture. We're right on the campus of the hospital, and it gives us state-of-the-art equipment and a lot of opportunities for our students that are going through our programs. But some students, like I said, they come because it's required. That's it. They're like, hey, I have to get my bachelor's degree in this many years, so I have to do this. But many of them we find not only appreciate kind of, hey, the pride in getting a bachelor's degree, but then the classes that you take, the leadership experience you take, the service credit experience in our programs, these kind of things get them in front of people where they can then grow their career. Some people end up going through leadership after going through this program, and they want to become managers and they want to move through the system in that way. But we find a lot of our students find, okay, maybe I needed to do this because of my hospital required it, but the experience they get, we have so much good feedback about that, growing their career and really feeling accomplished personally for that. So I wanted to make that last comment before we end today, because going back to school is a big step. If you've already finished, you have that RN degree and you don't want to study again. But that's why we have people like Lisa. Lisa Huber is a phenomenal degree track chair. She really keeps in touch with her students. We have advisors that make sure that you can get through your classes, help you register every semester. If you're stuck or you don't know what to do, you can talk with your faculty advisor. And then with Heather, know that both her, and she works closely with Brandy Gray if you're a Kettering Health Network employee, but she works closely to make sure, okay, how do I actually do this? What is my first steps? How do I actually enroll? I forgot about how to do this school thing. So to kind of end on a few more practical steps, because I'm not seeing if any questions come in.
Could I excuse me, Jessica, can I just add one thing that I kind of forgot to say during my presentation? It's another frequently asked question of, you know, students kind of want to know how much work is this going to be? How much time is it going to take me out of my life? You know, that kind of thing. And we just use, our courses are designed generally so that most of our courses are 3 credit hours. And so for every credit hour, usually that equates to about 3 hours outside of, for you to work on that 1 credit hour. So for a 3 credit hour course, we would expect you to be somewhere around 9, maybe even 12, depending on your comfort level with the material and with technology, you know, and making sure that your computer works and that kind of thing. So it would take about between 9 and 12 hours per week that you might spend on your coursework. So that would be like a shift, working a shift, you know, and spending that much time on your coursework. So we try to make it very manageable for working RNs. So I just wanted to.
Oh yeah, that was a great, I get that question a lot for students that are coming in College. So that's a great one. So my last one, then I was going to ask Heather to speak a little bit to it practically. So some of you have applied, maybe some of you haven't. So just, where do I go? Kind of what are those high level next steps if I haven't applied? And then the next thing is, because we didn't really take a deep dive today, there's a lot of extra resources about it. But what would be my first step to get resources about the education assistance program at Kettering Health? So everybody, no matter what, has to go through our own application process, et cetera, which Heather's going to speak about becoming a student with us. But then those that work at Kettering Health Network have this separate option to apply for education assistance. And I want you to speak to where they would find that information to get started. And by the way, just a little tip, any Kettering Health Network employee that applies will get approved for this program. If you come to Kettering College and you're trying to get that nursing help with education assistance, some programs, other programs, you have to go through a much larger approval process. And this one, because they want you to get that nursing degree, they want you to get that BSN degree, you're going to get approved a lot easier with that. So Heather, can you speak to some high level steps for us?
Yep, so this process is really kind of easy. This is the process that would be for anyone who's coming in. This is your first application process. It's going on the website, going to that first kc.edu/apply, that application, it's free. What we're going to ask you to do is to go ahead and fill that out. It takes a couple minutes. We need a valid email, valid address, valid phone number. It's going to ask you social security number. That's for finance purposes. And then I need a government ID, which is normally your driver's license. You go ahead, take a picture of that with your phone, just upload that in there. And that's the application. We will need transcripts from everywhere that you have been. We won't need high school transcripts because you have your associate's degree already. So we will need transcripts from everywhere else that you've been. That's all college transcripts. And that kind of completes your application and gets it ready for review, and off it's sent. Now, if you are a Kettering Health Network employee and you want to use education assistance, the best way to start with that step is to go and log into your My HR area and go to Health Streams. You're going to look for the KHN Education Assistance under the catalog area in your Health Streams and sign up for that tutorial. That tutorial will give you all the information you need, everything that you would need to know about EdCore, which is the system we use for your education assistance. It's also going to give you a little bit about eligibility requirements, how to fill it out, and those kind of things. On your MyHR, we also have a it's a knowledge-based article area. You can go ahead and put the policy in there, KHN Education Assistance Policy. That's going to tell you the policy for the whole program. If you use education assistance, it is how they have you pay it back is with hours worked. So it's about 2,080 hours that you would work after using the program, and that's kind of how you pay back using the education assistance program. If you have any more questions about it, just let me know. I've got more information, but I know we're running out of time. So that's kind of high level steps of how you get started.